People at the airport froze the moment Buddy, the police German shepherd, broke formation and charged toward the woman pushing a stroller, because his sudden roar echoed through the entire terminal like a warning shot. And for a heartbeat, nobody could understand why a routine security sweep had turned into an emergency that made officers sprint in panic. The woman, young, dressed in a pink blouse, her blonde hair pulled back, gasped and yanked the stroller backward, shouting for help as the dog lunged again, not with blind aggression, but with a kind of frantic urgency that sent shockwaves through every passenger watching. The officers yelled commands, their voices sharp and authoritative, trying to stop him. Yet Buddy ignored every order, his massive body lowering to the ground like he was protecting something rather than attacking it. And in that instant, the mother's fear twisted into confusion as she saw the dog's eyes locked, not on her, not on her face, but on the colorful, lion-patterned blanket tucked around her sleeping one-year-old. Before we continue, don't forget to hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe. And I'm really curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments below. I love seeing how far these incredible stories travel. Back to the story. The lead officer, Officer Chen, shouted that the dog had detected something, and the atmosphere changed instantly. Several officers rushed toward the stroller, their boots pounding against the polished terminal floor, their radios crackling with urgent calls for backup, while the mother trembled and begged them not to touch her child. Buddy barked again, louder this time. Almost desperate, a sound that made nearby travelers step back with their hands over their mouths. And then he made a sudden leap directly into the stroller. His body became a living shield over the tiny infant as officers froze mid-step, trying to understand what he was doing. The mother screamed, grabbing the stroller handle with white-knuckled hands. But Buddy didn't harm the baby. Instead, he nudged the lion-patterned blanket aside with the force of a life-or-death mission, his snout working frantically beneath the soft fabric. And something small and metallic rolled out from beneath the baby's legs. It bounced across the shiny terminal floor, clink, 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 until it stopped near Officer Chen's polished black boots. He knelt, his hand reaching for his glove before picking up the object. His face instantly lost all color as he yelled for everyone nearby to step back, his voice cracking with urgency. The mother stared at the cold metal cylinder in his gloved hand, having no idea what it was or how it ended up in her stroller, while Buddy remained pressed against her sleeping infant like a living shield, his body tense, his breathing heavy. In seconds, the terminal filled with alarms, piercing, relentless, distant announcements instructing passengers to evacuate, and the heavy footsteps of bomb squad units responding. Yet the mother couldn't even process the chaos because her world had narrowed to one unbelievable thought. Her baby had been riding over an object dangerous enough to trigger a police dog's extreme alert. Officers surrounded her, speaking quickly, their questions firing like bullets. Had anyone approached her? Had she left the stroller unattended? Had she noticed anything unusual? But she could barely answer as tears slid down her cheeks and her legs threatened to give out beneath her because the truth was settling in like ice water through her veins. Someone had tried to turn her child into an unwitting weapon. Her name was Jessica Torres, and 15 minutes ago, her biggest worry had been whether her daughter Emma's flight would be delayed. She'd been standing in the security line at Terminal C of Denver International Airport, bouncing the stroller gently to keep Emma asleep. The baby had been fussy all morning, teething, probably, and Jessica had finally gotten her down for a nap just as they'd entered the airport. The lion-patterned blanket, a gift from Emma's grandmother, was tucked snugly around the baby's legs. The bright cartoon lions and elephants, a cheerful contrast to the sterile airport environment. Jessica had noticed the police dog making rounds. She'd even smiled at the handler, a woman in her 30s with kind eyes who'd nodded back. K9 units were common in airports. Jessica found them reassuring, actually. A reminder that someone was watching, that her daughter was safe. Then everything changed. The dog had been 20 feet away, methodically sniffing luggage near the coffee kiosk, when suddenly his head snapped up, his ears pinned back, and without warning, without any visible cue from his handler, he charged, straight toward Jessica's stroller. The sound he made wasn't a bark, it was something primal, something that triggered every mother's instinct to protect. Jessica's hands flew to the stroller handle, her body positioning itself between the charging animal and her sleeping baby. "No!" she screamed. "Get back!" But the dog, Buddy, she'd learn his name later, didn't stop. He came at them like a freight train, his powerful body coiled with purpose, his teeth visible, his eyes wild with something Jessica couldn't identify. "He's going to hurt her. Oh God, he's going to hurt my baby." Officers appeared from nowhere. She heard boots pounding, radio squawking, voices shouting commands she couldn't process. Someone grabbed her arm. A male officer, Asian, his face tight with urgency. "Ma'am, step back. Step back now." "My baby!" Jessica yanked her arm free, clutching the stroller. "He's attacking my baby." But Buddy wasn't attacking. Even in her panic, Jessica could see something was wrong with that assessment. The dog had reached the stroller now, but instead of lunging at Emma, he was circling it, his nose working frantically, his whole body vibrating with intensity. The handler, Officer Martinez, her badge read, had caught up, slightly out of breath. "Buddy, heel! Buddy!" The dog ignored her completely. Jessica had never seen anything like it. Police dogs were supposed to be obedient, weren't they? Trained to follow commands without question? But Buddy was following something else, something more powerful than training. He lowered his body to the ground, his front legs splaying out, his haunches raised. It was a posture Jessica had seen in nature documentaries, predators protecting their young, or soldiers taking cover from incoming fire. "What's he doing?" Jessica's voice came out as a whisper. "What's wrong with him?" Officer Chen, the lead officer, was on his radio now, his voice clipped and professional. "Code yellow in Terminal C, K9 alert on civilian stroller. Need backup and EOD immediately." EOD. Even through her panic, Jessica knew what that meant. Explosive ordnance disposal. "No," she breathed. "No, that's not. There's nothing." Buddy barked again, and the sound was so desperate, so utterly unlike any dog sound Jessica had ever heard, that fresh terror washed over her. "Ma'am," Officer Chen said, his hand outstretched, "I need you to slowly, very slowly, step away from the stroller." "I'm not leaving my daughter." "Ma'am, I'm not leaving her." And then Buddy jumped. The moment seemed to stretch impossibly, like time itself had been pulled thin as wire. Buddy's body launched into the air, 90 pounds of muscle and fur and absolute determination, and for a horrifying second, Jessica thought he was attacking Emma. Her scream caught in her throat. Her hands reached futilely toward the stroller. But Buddy's landing was gentle, impossibly gentle for an animal his size. He settled into the stroller with the care of a mother laying down beside her child, his body curving protectively around Emma's tiny form. His head positioned itself over her chest like a shield. His legs braced against the stroller's frame, taking his own weight so none of it pressed on the baby. Emma stirred, made a small sound, but didn't wake. "Jesus Christ," Officer Martinez whispered, her hand frozen on her weapon. "What is he doing?" The other officers had formed a loose circle around the stroller, hands hovering near their service weapons. Bodies tense. Nearby passengers were being pushed back by additional security, their faces pressed against the glass wall of a nearby gift shop, phones held up to record everything. Jessica's world had shrunk to the stroller, to her daughter, to the massive dog who was now draped over Emma like a living blanket. "Get him off," Jessica begged. "Please, just get him off her." But Officer Chen held up a hand. "Nobody moves. Martinez, why isn't he responding to commands?" "I don't know." The handler's voice was tight. "He's never done this. Never. Buddy, release. Buddy, off." The dog's ears twitched, acknowledgement, but he didn't move. Instead, his snout pushed at the lion-patterned blanket, nudging it aside with methodical purpose. "He's looking for something," Chen said slowly. "He detected something, and he's—" The blanket shifted. Buddy's nose worked beneath it, pushing, prodding. Emma's little legs kicked in her sleep, and Jessica made an involuntary sound of distress. "Please," she whispered, "please don't hurt her." Buddy's eyes, warm amber, surprisingly gentle despite the intensity of his body language, flicked to Jessica for just a moment. If dogs could communicate reassurance, that look was it. I won't hurt her, I'm saving her. Then his snout found what it was looking for. Something rolled out from beneath the blanket. Something small and cylindrical and utterly wrong in its metallic coldness. It bounced once on Emma's soft onesie, the one with little airplanes on it, then tumbled over the edge of the stroller. The sound it made hitting the terminal floor was small, insignificant, a quiet tink that should have been swallowed by the ambient noise of the airport. But in that moment, it was the loudest sound Jessica had ever heard. The cylinder rolled across the polished floor, wobbling slightly, its brushed metal surface catching the fluorescent lights. It came to rest against Officer Chen's right boot. He stared at it, just stared. His face did something Jessica would never forget. It drained of color so completely that she thought he might faint. His hand moved to his radio with the kind of speed that came from pure adrenaline. Clear the area, clear the entire section. This is not a drill. His voice boomed through the terminal, cutting through every conversation, every announcement, every sound. We have a device. Repeat, we have a device. Jessica's legs went numb. The words didn't make sense. Couldn't make sense. Device. That word, that terrible word. I don't understand, she heard herself say. How did? But the rest of her sentence was lost as officers grabbed her, pulled her back, put their bodies between her and the stroller, between her and Emma, between her and the small metal cylinder that had been tucked beneath her baby's blanket this entire time. Buddy remained in the stroller, his body still curved protectively around Emma, his eyes tracking every movement around them. A living shield, a hero in fur. And Jessica finally understood. He hadn't been attacking her daughter. He'd been saving her. The terminal erupted. Alarms shrieked, harsh, piercing tones designed to cut through panic and demand attention. Overhead speakers crackled to life with automated announcements. Attention all passengers. This is a security alert. Please proceed calmly to the nearest exit. But there was nothing calm about what was happening. People ran, luggage was abandoned, a coffee cup shattered on the floor, a child somewhere started crying, then another, then a chorus of frightened children as the fear spread like wildfire through Terminal C. Jessica tried to move toward the stroller, toward Emma, but Officer Martinez had her now, strong hands on her shoulders, guiding her back. My baby, Jessica sobbed. I need to get my baby. Ma'am, we can't let you near the stroller until the device is secured. That's my baby. Jessica's voice cracked with hysteria. She fought against Martinez's grip, but the officer was trained for this, immovable. At the stroller, Officer Chen had pulled on protective gloves and was crouching near the metal cylinder, not touching it yet, just examining it with the focused intensity of someone who knew exactly how bad this could be. Size and shape consistent with an IED, he said into his radio, his voice deadly calm. Metallic casing, no visible wiring on the exterior. Buddy's still in protective position over the infant. Another voice crackled through his radio. EOD is 2 minutes out. Do not touch the device. Keep the area clear. Copy that. Jessica watched through tear-blurred eyes as Buddy finally, slowly, lifted his head. The dog looked at Chen, then at the cylinder, then back at Emma. His body language was clear. I found it. I protected her. Now you do your job. Good boy, Chen whispered. Buddy off. Come on, boy. Let the techs handle this. This time, Buddy obeyed. He carefully extracted himself from the stroller, his movements deliberate and gentle. Emma stirred again, her tiny fist rubbing at her eyes, beginning to wake. No, 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 Jessica breathed. Don't wake up, baby. Please don't wake up. Martinez's grip softened slightly. We're going to get her out, I promise. As soon as EOD clears the device, we're getting your daughter to safety. Men in heavy protective gear were jogging toward them now. The bomb squad, helmets under their arms, faces grim. One of them, 50s, gray hair, the word commander on his vest, took one look at the scene and his jaw tightened. Everyone back, 50-foot perimeter. Now! More officers appeared, creating a human barrier, pushing Jessica and Martinez back even further. Jessica lost sight of the stroller, lost sight of Emma. "I can't see her," she gasped. "I can't. Look at me." Martinez turned Jessica's face toward her own. "Look at me, Jessica. That dog saved your daughter's life. Whatever that thing is, it was hidden under her blanket, and Buddy found it before anything happened. Your baby's going to be fine. Do you hear me? She's going to be fine." Jessica wanted to believe her. God, she wanted to believe her. Behind the wall of officers, the EOD commander was examining the cylinder with a handheld device. He ran it over the object, checked his readings, ran it again. When he looked up at Chen, his expression was grave. "It's armed," he said quietly. "Pressure trigger if she lifted the baby out at the wrong angle, or if the stroller had been bumped too hard." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Chen's face went hard. "Someone planted this deliberately." "Yeah." The commander carefully placed a blast containment device over the cylinder. "Someone who knew exactly what they were doing. This isn't amateur hour. This is professional-grade hardware. Who would target a woman and her baby?" The commander looked past Chen to where Jessica stood crying in Martinez's arms. "Someone who wanted to use them," he said quietly. "Someone who wanted an innocent-looking woman carrying an innocent-looking baby to walk a bomb right through security." The implication hung in the air like poison. Jessica Torres hadn't just been targeted, she'd been weaponized. Officer David Chen had been in law enforcement for 12 years. He'd seen overdoses, domestics, shootings, car accidents that painted highways red. He learned to compartmentalize, to lock his emotions away and do the job. But standing 3 feet from a device designed to kill a 1-year-old child, his hands were shaking. The EOD commander, Sullivan, his name tape read, worked with the mechanical precision of someone who diffused hundreds of devices. But even he moved slowly, deliberately, treating the cylinder like a coiled snake ready to strike. "Talk to me," Chen said quietly. Sullivan didn't look up. "Commercial-grade explosives, about 4 ounces, not enough to bring down a building, but more than enough to kill everyone within a 20-foot radius." Chen's stomach turned. He glanced back at the stroller where Emma was finally mercifully being lifted out by a paramedic wearing protective gear. The baby was awake now, crying, her little face red and confused. The trigger? Pressure sensitive. It was positioned under the blanket so that when the mother lifted the baby out, Sullivan made a gesture. Weight releases, trigger activates, device detonates. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Sullivan carefully inserted a thin tool into a seam on the cylinder. Whoever built this knew what they were doing. This is military-level sophistication, not some amateur copying instructions off the internet. Chen's mind raced. A professional device, planted in a civilian stroller, targeting a mother and child. How long has it been active? Based on the mechanism, Sullivan checked his instruments again. Could have been minutes, could have been hours. There's no way to know when it was planted, but the dog detected it immediately. Dogs don't lie. Sullivan's voice held deep respect. Whatever sense signature this thing has, that shepherd picked it up the second he got within range. Probably saved a couple hundred lives today. The device clicked. Both men froze. Sullivan exhaled slowly. "It's okay. Just the containment unit settling. We're good." Chen's heart was hammering. He looked around the terminal. Now completely evacuated, security footage recording everything. His entire shift watching from behind blast barriers. And Buddy. The German shepherd sat beside Martinez, perfectly still, his eyes locked on the stroller, even though Emma had been removed. The dog's job wasn't done, not until every threat was neutralized. "I've got it," Sullivan said finally. "Trigger is disabled. The device is inert." Chen felt his knees go weak with relief. "You're sure?" "I'm sure." Sullivan carefully lifted the cylinder, now safely contained in a blast-proof case. "I'll need to transport this to the lab for full analysis, but the immediate threat is over." Chen's radio crackled. "All units. Code yellow is canceled. Device has been neutralized. Terminal remains closed for investigation." The tension that had gripped the airport for the last 8 minutes finally fractionally eased. Chen walked back to where Jessica Torres sat on a bench, cradling Emma in her arms. The baby had stopped crying and was now just sniffling, one tiny hand gripping her mother's shirt. "Ms. Torres," Chen said gently, "I need to ask you some questions." Jessica looked up at him with eyes so haunted, so full of incomprehension, that Chen felt his professional mask crack slightly. "I don't understand," she whispered. "Who would do this? Why would someone want to hurt my baby?" "We're going to find out." Chen crouched down to her level. "But I need you to think carefully. In the last few hours, or even days, did anyone approach you? Anyone ask about your travel plans? Anyone show unusual interest in you or Emma?" Jessica's face crumpled. I don't know. There was, at the coffee shop this morning, a man asked if he could take the table next to me. He said I had a beautiful baby. But that happens all the time. People always comment on babies." "What did he look like?" I barely looked at him. 30s, maybe? Dark hair? I was on my phone trying to book the tickets." She'd been distracted, vulnerable, the perfect target. "Did you leave the stroller unattended at any point?" Jessica's eyes widened. "Just for a minute, maybe two. I had to use the restroom, and the stroller wouldn't fit in the accessible stall, so I left it right outside the door. I could hear Emma the whole time. She was fine. She was just sleeping." Chen's jaw tightened. That was when it happened. That was the window. Someone had watched Jessica, followed her, waited for her to turn her back for just 2 minutes. And in those 2 minutes, they'd turned her daughter into a weapon. The airport's security office had been transformed into a makeshift command center. Monitors lined every wall, displaying feeds from hundreds of cameras positioned throughout Terminal C. FBI agents had arrived within 30 minutes of the incident, their dark suits and grave expressions adding weight to what everyone already knew. This was bigger than airport security. Special Agent Rebecca Walsh stood at the center monitor, her arms crossed, her eyes tracking the playback for the 4th time. "There," she said, pointing. "Stop it there." The footage froze. A timestamp read 09:47 a.m., 1 hour and 20 minutes before Buddy's alert. On screen, Jessica Torres sat at a small cafe table, Emma's stroller parked beside her. Jessica was on her phone, her attention completely absorbed by whatever was on the screen. The stroller's canopy was up, blocking the view of Emma, and the lion-patterned blanket draped over the sides. "She's booking the flight," Chen explained. He'd pulled Jessica's statement and verified it against her phone records. "Last-minute trip to visit her mother in Phoenix. The baby had been fussy, so she'd finally gotten her to sleep and didn't want to disturb her by wheeling the stroller around." Walsh nodded. "Perfect target. Distracted mother, sleeping infant, stroller stationary and partially concealed. Forward it." The footage played. For 3 minutes, nothing happened. Then Jessica stood, glanced at the stroller. Emma was clearly still sleeping, and hurried toward the restroom 20 feet away. "She said she was gone for 2 minutes," Chen said. They watched. Jessica disappeared into the restroom. 7 seconds later, a man entered the frame. Walsh leaned forward. "That's him." The man was unremarkable. That was the first thing that struck Chen. Medium height, medium build, dark hair, jeans and a navy jacket. The kind of person who'd disappear in a crowd, which was almost certainly intentional. He walked past the stroller, casual, no hurry, then he doubled back. His movements were smooth, practiced. He approached the stroller from the side, his body partially blocking the view of what his hands were doing. He reached toward the blanket. "Can you zoom in?" Walsh asked. The technician enlarged the image. The man's hands moved with surgical precision, lifting the blanket, sliding something underneath, adjusting it so it sat directly beneath where the baby's body would rest, then smoothing the blanket back into place. The whole thing took 11 seconds. Then he walked away. Didn't run, didn't look back. Just merged into the flow of travelers and disappeared toward the security checkpoint. "Run facial recognition," Walsh ordered. "I want every frame of this man from the moment he entered the airport." "Already running," the technician said, "but he knew where the cameras were. Look, he keeps his face down or turned away in every shot." Walsh swore under her breath. Professional. This wasn't opportunistic. This was planned. Chen felt sick. Why her? Why Jessica Torres and her daughter? Wrong place, wrong time, maybe. Or, Walsh pulled up another screen. Torres is a kindergarten teacher, single mother, no criminal record, no connection to any watch lists. She's nobody. That's why she was chosen, Chen said slowly. Because she's nobody. A woman and a baby. Who's going to suspect them? Exactly. Walsh's voice was grim. She walks through security with the device hidden under her baby. It's designed to detonate when she lifts the child out. Probably at her gate or on the plane itself. Maximum casualties, maximum chaos, and an innocent woman takes the blame. Domestic terrorism? Or a test run for something bigger? Walsh turned to face Chen. This device was professional grade. The placement was perfect. If it hadn't been for that K9, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. If it hadn't been for Buddy, Terminal C would be a crime scene right now. Bodies, blood, a mother and child among the dead. I want that dog, Walsh said suddenly. I want to interview the handler, get his training records, understand how he detected that device through all the ambient sense in an airport. Because whatever he did, whatever instinct kicked in, it just prevented a massacre. Chen looked at the monitor where the suspect's final frame was frozen, just the back of his head as he disappeared into a crowd. We need to find this guy, Chen said, before he tries again. Walsh's expression was stone. We will, and when we do, he's going to spend the rest of his life regretting the day he chose Jessica Torres. The FBI's facial recognition system was processing thousands of images per second, cross-referencing the suspect against every database available. Passport records, driver's licenses, criminal histories, even social media profiles scraped from public posts. Agent Walsh watched the percentages climb on her screen. 73% matched to known database, 81%, 94%. Then it locked. Match found. Got him, the technician said, pulling up a file. Victor Reyes, 34 years old, former Army EOD specialist, dishonorably discharged 3 years ago. Walsh leaned in, reading quickly. Discharged for what? Conduct unbecoming. The details are sealed, but there are notes about psychological evaluation and concerns about his state of mind. He did 2 tours in Afghanistan, specialized in IED detection and disposal. So he knows exactly how to build one, Chen said grimly. Walsh scrolled through Reyes's file. After discharge, he dropped off the grid. No permanent address, no employment records, no social media presence. Last known location was a motel in Aurora 6 months ago, but he didn't stay long. What's his connection to Torres? That's what we need to figure out. Walsh pulled up Jessica's file on an adjacent screen, looking for any intersection between her life and Reyes's. Schools, workplaces, social circles, anything. Nothing. They're strangers, the technician confirmed after running his own cross-check. No overlap anywhere in their histories. Then why target her specifically? Chen wondered aloud. Maybe he didn't. Walsh pulled up the airport footage again, this time running it backward to show Reyes's entry into the airport. Maybe she was just the most convenient victim. Alone, distracted, vulnerable. He could have been watching multiple women before settling on her. They watched as Reyes entered the terminal at 09:15 a.m., 32 minutes before he planted the device. He walked slowly through the concourse, his eyes scanning. Twice he paused near women with strollers. Once he followed a mother to the food court, then seemed to change his mind and moved on. Then he saw Jessica. The camera caught him stopping, watching her sit down at the cafe, watching her pull out her phone and become absorbed in it, watching her settle in, clearly planning to stay for a while. He's hunting, Walsh said quietly. He's selecting his victim based on behavior, not identity. Chen's hands clenched into fists. The cold calculation of it was worse somehow than if there had been a personal motive. This was pure malice. Random evil. Wait, the technician said, pausing the feed. He's carrying something. They zoomed in. Reyes had a backpack, dark blue, nondescript, but the way it hung on his shoulders suggested weight. That's where he had the device, Walsh said. He built it somewhere else, brought it into the airport pre-assembled. All he needed was an opportunity to plant it. Which means he could have more, Chen said, his blood running cold. If this was a test run, if he's planning something bigger, Walsh was already on her phone. I'm calling TSA. We need to shut down every terminal and run full sweeps with K9 units. If there are any other devices in this airport, I want them found. She paused, listening to the response on the other end, then, I don't care about the disruption. We have a confirmed bomb maker in the building, and he just tried to kill a baby. Shut it down. On the monitor, Reyes's face stared out at them, frozen in mid-stride. Dark eyes, no expression. The face of someone who decided that other people's lives had no value. Where did he go after he planted it? Chen asked. The technician pulled up the timeline. He headed toward security, went through the checkpoint at 9:52, 5 minutes after planting the device. Passed through with no issues. The device was already on the other side, so he wasn't carrying anything suspicious. So he's past security right now, Walsh said, probably watching the terminal, waiting to see if his handiwork pays off. Chen's radio crackled. All units, we have a visual on the suspect. Repeat, visual confirmation of Victor Reyes at gate B17. He's carrying a boarding pass. Looks like he's trying to leave. Walsh and Chen exchanged a look. Not today, Walsh said, already moving. Not on my watch. Gate B17 was a 40-second sprint through Terminal C, past shuttered shops and evacuated seating areas where abandoned coffee cups still steamed and magazines lay open on empty chairs. Walsh ran ahead, her FBI credentials already in hand, Chen right behind her with his weapon drawn. Behind them, a team of airport security officers fanned out, blocking exits and sealing corridors. But it was Buddy who moved fastest. Officer Martinez had released him the moment the radio call came through, and the German Shepherd shot forward like he'd been fired from a cannon, his powerful legs eating up the distance, his nose already locked on a scent trail only he could detect. Buddy, find! Martinez shouted, sprinting after him. The dog didn't need the command. He'd already found him. At gate B17, Victor Reyes stood near the boarding counter, a ticket in his hand, his posture relaxed and unhurried. He was watching the monitor above the gate. CNN was playing footage of the terminal evacuation, shaky cell phone video showing people running, luggage scattered across the floor. He was smiling. Then Buddy's bark shattered his composure. Reyes's head snapped around, and for one frozen instant, Chen saw the calculation flash across his face. The man had been military. He knew how to assess threats, how to evaluate options. He saw Walsh approaching from the left, Chen from the right, security behind them, and Buddy, 90 pounds of fury and determination, charging straight at him. Reyes bolted. He vaulted over the boarding counter with athletic ease, scattering papers and knocking a computer monitor to the floor. The gate agent screamed. Reyes hit the ground running, heading for the jetway. Stop! FBI! Walsh's voice boomed through the gate area. But Reyes was already through the jetway door, disappearing down the tunnel that led to the aircraft. Buddy reached the counter and didn't hesitate. He leaped over it in a single bound, his body sailing through the air with perfect form, landing smoothly and launching back into his sprint without losing a single second. Martinez was right behind him. Buddy, hold! Take him down! The jetway was a narrow corridor, barely 6 feet wide, with windows on one side showing the tarmac below and the body of a 737 at the end. Reyes was halfway down, running full speed. Buddy was faster. The dog's claws scrabbled for purchase on the carpeted floor, his body low and streamlined, built for exactly this kind of pursuit. Chen watched through the jetway door as the distance closed. 20 feet, 15, 10. Reyes glanced back, saw the dog gaining on him, and made a desperate decision. He grabbed a metal safety barrier, yanking it across the narrow space to block Buddy's path. It bought him 2 seconds. Buddy leaped over the barrier without breaking stride. 5 feet now. 3 feet. Reyes reached the aircraft door, started to pull it closed. Buddy launched himself forward in a final burst of speed and clamped his jaws around Reyes's ankle. The man went down hard, his scream echoing through the jetway. He kicked frantically, trying to dislodge the dog, but Buddy's grip was iron. The shepherd's training had taken over completely. This was what he'd been bred for, what he'd trained thousands of hours to do. Hold the threat, protect the innocent. Walsh and Chen reached them seconds later, weapons drawn. "Victor Reyes," Walsh said, breathing hard, "you're under arrest for attempted murder, terrorism, and about 15 other charges I'm going to enjoy listing." Reyes glared up at her, blood seeping from where Buddy's teeth had found purchase through his jeans. "I want a lawyer." "You'll get one." Chen holstered his weapon and pulled out handcuffs. "Right after we book you into a cell where you'll spend the rest of your life." Martinez finally caught up, slightly winded. "Buddy, release." "Good boy, good boy." The dog let go, but he didn't step back. He stood over Reyes, his body tense and ready, his message clear. "Move, and I'll stop you again." Chen cuffed Reyes roughly, yanking him to his feet. The man's face was pale now, the arrogant smile from the gate area completely gone. "How did you find me so fast?" Reyes asked, his voice bitter. Walsh smiled without humor. "We have cameras everywhere, and we have Buddy." She looked at the German Shepherd, who was now sitting calmly at Martinez's side, his tail wagging slightly. "Turns out you can outsmart people, Reyes, but you can't outsmart a dog who knows your scent." As they led Reyes back through the jetway, Chen looked at Buddy and felt something shift in his chest. 12 years on the force, and he'd never seen anything like what this animal had done today. Found a bomb, protected a baby, chased down a terrorist, all in one shift. "Martinez," Chen said quietly, "you've got one hell of a partner." The handler's hand rested on Buddy's head, her fingers scratching behind his ears. "Don't I know it?" Back in the terminal, Jessica Torres sat in a secure interview room, Emma finally asleep in her arms after 45 minutes of hysterical crying. The baby's face was blotchy and red, tear tracks still visible on her chubby cheeks. Jessica's own face looked worse. She'd cried until she had no tears left, until her throat was raw and her eyes burned. And still, the horror kept washing over her in waves. The knowledge of what had been hidden beneath her daughter. What could have happened if that dog hadn't been there? A female agent sat across from her, not Walsh, someone gentler, with kind eyes and a soft voice. She'd brought Jessica water and tissues and had sat quietly while Jessica fell apart. Now the door opened and Officer Chen entered, followed by Martinez and Buddy. Jessica's breath caught. The dog looked completely different than he had during the chaos. His tongue lolled out in a relaxed pant. His tail wagged gently. He looked like someone's beloved pet, not the fierce protector who'd thrown himself over her daughter. "Ms. Torres," Chen said gently, "they caught him. Victor Reyes is in custody. He's not going to hurt anyone else." The relief should have been overwhelming, but Jessica just felt numb, empty. "I don't understand," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "Why me? Why Emma? What did we do?" "Nothing." Martinez crouched down to Jessica's level, her hand still resting on Buddy's head. "You did absolutely nothing wrong. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and a very bad man made a very evil choice. But you're safe now. Emma's safe, and that's because of Buddy." Jessica looked at the dog, really looked at him. His amber eyes met hers, and there was something in them. Intelligence, yes, but also something gentler, something that understood fear and knew how to combat it. "Can I?" Jessica's voice broke. "Can I touch him?" Martinez smiled. "Of course. Buddy, gentle." The shepherd moved forward slowly, carefully, as if he understood how fragile Jessica was in this moment. He approached until his head was close enough for her to reach, then sat and waited. Jessica's hand trembled as she extended it, her fingers finding the soft fur of his head. The moment she touched him, something inside her cracked open. The sobs came back, harder than before, wrenching through her body with violent force. Emma stirred against her chest but didn't wake. "You saved her," Jessica choked out, her hand gripping Buddy's fur like a lifeline. "You saved my baby. Oh, God, you saved my baby." Buddy didn't move. He sat perfectly still and let this broken mother hold on to him. Let her cry into his fur, let her shaking hands clutch at him while she finally processed everything that had almost happened. "I didn't see it," Jessica sobbed. "I didn't know. I left her alone for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, and I didn't know someone had..." That someone would. You couldn't have known, Martinez said firmly. This isn't your fault, Jessica. Do you hear me? None of this is your fault. But Jessica shook her head, the guilt crushing her. I should have been watching. I should have kept her with me. I should have. You did everything right, Chen interrupted, his voice rough with emotion. You were a good mother doing normal things. The only person responsible for this is Victor Reyes. He's the monster. Not you. Jessica looked down at Emma, then back at Buddy. The dog's eyes hadn't left her face, hadn't shown any impatience or judgment. Just pure, unconditional presence. Thank you, she whispered to him. Thank you for protecting her when I couldn't. Buddy's tail thumped once against the floor. Martinez's voice was gentle. He knew somehow. The second he caught the scent, he knew there was a baby in danger. And nothing, not commands, not training, not anything, was going to stop him from protecting her. How did he know? Jessica asked. How did he know to jump into the stroller? Chen spoke up. The device was pressure sensitive. If you'd lifted Emma out at the wrong angle, it would have detonated. Buddy didn't just find the bomb, he shielded your daughter from it. He used his own body to absorb the potential blast. The words hit Jessica like a physical blow. This dog, this beautiful, brave, incredible dog, had been willing to die for Emma. I don't know how to... Jessica's voice failed her. I don't know how to thank you, any of you, for saving my daughter's life. Martinez's eyes were suspiciously bright. Just love her. Keep her safe. Live a good life with her. That's all the thanks we need. Jessica nodded, unable to speak anymore. She buried her face in Buddy's fur one more time, breathing in his warm dog scent, feeling his solid presence, and whispered the only words that mattered. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 3 hours later, Terminal C remained closed. Evidence techs were still processing the scene, documenting every angle, collecting every piece of footage. Victor Reyes was in federal custody, his interrogation already underway in a secure facility downtown. But at Gate B-17, converted temporarily into a command post, Officer Martinez sat on the carpeted floor with Buddy's head in her lap. The dog was exhausted, not physically, German Shepherds had stamina for days, but emotionally. The adrenaline had finally worn off, and Buddy had crashed hard. His body relaxed completely, his breathing deep and steady. You did good today, boy, Martinez murmured, scratching behind his ears. You did so good. Walsh approached, 2 cups of terrible airport coffee in her hands. She offered one to Martinez, who took it gratefully. I've worked with K-9 units for 15 years, Walsh said, settling down beside them. I've never seen anything like what he did today. Martinez smiled tiredly. Me neither. And I'm his handler. The way he jumped into that stroller, Walsh shook her head. That wasn't training. That was instinct. Pure protective instinct. He's always been like that with kids. Martinez's hand moved to Buddy's back, stroking his fur. At community events, he's drawn to them. Lets them climb all over him. Pulled his ears, everything. But this was different. This was... She struggled for words. Heroic, Walsh supplied. Yeah. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the text work, the investigators document. The airport slowly returned to some semblance of order. Jessica Torres wants to see him again, Walsh said finally. Before she leaves. She's been asking every 10 minutes. Martinez smiled. He'd like that. An hour later, in a quiet corner of the terminal, away from the chaos, Jessica stood with Emma in her arms. The baby was awake now, her eyes wide and curious, her little hands reaching for everything. Martinez led Buddy over, and the dog's demeanor changed immediately. His tail wagged. His steps became lighter, almost bouncy. He remembered her, remembered the baby he'd protected. Hi, Jessica said softly, her voice still raw. Hi, Buddy. The dog sat politely, his eyes fixed on Emma with gentle interest. Can she pet him? Jessica asked. Of course. Jessica carefully guided Emma's tiny hand to Buddy's head. The baby's fingers tangled in his fur, tugging slightly, and Buddy didn't even flinch. He just sat there, perfectly still, letting this child he'd saved explore him with clumsy, innocent curiosity. Emma laughed. filled with tears again. I keep thinking about what almost happened, she whispered. I keep seeing it in my head and I can't stop. Look at her, Martinez said gently, nodding at Emma. She's fine, she's perfect. She's laughing. That's what matters. Because of him. Jessica looked at Buddy, her voice breaking. Because of your dog. He's pretty special, Martinez agreed. Jessica crouched down, awkward with Emma in her arms, until she was eye level with Buddy. The dog looked at her with those intelligent amber eyes, his expression calm and patient. I don't have anything to give you, Jessica said, her voice shaking. No treats, no toys, nothing. Just thank you. Thank you for saving my daughter. Thank you for being there when I needed you most. Thank you for being so brave. Buddy's tail wagged faster. Emma reached out again, this time grabbing Buddy's ear and squealing with delight. The dog endured it with perfect grace, his expression almost seeming to say, this is what I protected. This joy, this innocence, this is why. Martinez felt her own eyes burning with tears. He knows, she said quietly. He knows what he did, and he knows you're grateful. Jessica nodded, unable to speak. She pressed her forehead against Buddy's for just a moment. This dog who changed everything. This hero in fur who'd saved her world without asking for anything in return. When she finally stood, Emma still in her arms, she looked at Martinez with red-rimmed eyes. I'm going to tell her about him, Jessica said, when she's old enough to understand. I'm going to tell her about the day a dog named Buddy saved her life. Martinez smiled through her tears. I think he'd like that. As Jessica walked away, Emma looked back over her mother's shoulder and waved one chubby hand at Buddy. The dog's tail wagged in response. Martinez looked down at her partner, this unshaken